Welcome to Mastering Machines, where we discover tomorrow's reality.
Hello everyone, welcome to Mastering Machines, where we discover tomorrow's reality. Today I'm going to be talking about the big news of the week, and that's Meta's Llama 3.1. This model isn't what we've seen before, from past in April. It's actually a quite larger model. The Llama 3 that was released in April of this year, they had an 8 billion parameter model, and then they had a 70 billion parameter model. The main model of Meta's Llama 3.1 is 405 billion parameters. That's around a 5x or 6x increase from the previous model. I can't help but think that Meta is really playing the role of spoiler, especially with GPT-4o coming out with a lot of their communications about the actual model and actually releasing it to more users. And then, of course, Claude, comparing it to Claude 3.5 Sonnet, which has really been a game changer for a lot of people in the AI space, allowing them to do a lot of things like coding and use, the tools such as artifacts and features that have really been elevating the game when it comes to AI use. I don't think it's a coincidence that Mark Zuckerberg's gold chain t-shirt wearing rebrand is coinciding with the releases of Meta's Llama AI models. I think that he knows that he's going to have to be speaking a lot more, and he's going to have to be a lot more comfortable, especially if he wants Meta to dominate in this AI space, which is obviously going to be the future, and he's doing a great job doing it right now. Speaking of Zuck, he's been shouting from the rooftops in interviews and comments online about how Llama 3.1 is really going to change the game. And he has those receipts and information to kind of back it up. This bad boy of a model was trained on over 16,000 NVIDIA H100 GPUs. That's enough power to power multiple US towns. The H100 GPU is around $25,000 per unit, so that lets you know how much money was put into training this model. Meta is collaborating with over 24 companies, including, the heavy hitters like Amazon and Google, to help developers implement their own versions of Llama 3.1. And for those who wish that their AI assistant could speak more languages and remember more details about their life story or their workflow, you're in luck, because Meta, in addition to the 405 billion parameter model, they've also released an 8 billion parameter model and 70 billion parameter model for Llama 3.1 that comes with multilingual capabilities and a context length that would probably put Tolstoy or Stephen King to shame. And that's going to be 128,000 tokens. That's going to be around 300 pages. Zuckerberg has a pretty grand vision for Llama 3.1. He hopes it to become the Linux of the AI world and AI community. Zuck claims that Llama 3.1 is actually going to be 50% cheaper to run than GPT-4. So that's right, you can have your AI cake and eat it too. And then you can put this open model into different places without running up a crazy bill. Zuckerberg has also been pretty big on AI safety and regulation. I think that he understands what power this technology brings. So he's even updated the license to let developers use Llama outputs to improve other models. You can kind of think about it as he's hosting an AI potluck. In addition to all the updates, there's another new feature that allows users to generate images based on their specific appearance. The development of Llama 3.1 likely cost hundreds of millions of dollars, considering just the expense of the NVIDIA hardware alone. And then you have to think about the aspect of GPUs failing during the training run. And then also you have all of the other expenditures that are associated with training a huge data set of this size. Zuck has also discussed the social implications of open source AI, including how it can accelerate innovation and economic growth while balancing the reins of power and managing potential misuse. He mentions this interesting quote about how some of the AI companies want to create a digital god. And
our vision is that there's going to be like millions or just billions of different models out there.
So not one God, but many? Is that the way to think about it?
Well, I don't think they're going to be gods, but
He mentioned that we shouldn't look at this like that. We should look at it as a large tool. Also, in his interview with Verge, he predicts that billions of personalized AI agents would emerge, and he hopes that they will be powered by Llama 3.1 and transforming how people interact with technology, especially on a small business level. One of the funny parts of that same interview is that Zuck kind of takes a shot at OpenAI because he mentions that, Llama 3.1 and all of the llamas that have been released have been open sourced. And he was saying that it was kind of ironic that, basically they're named OpenAI, but they create closed AI models. And I thought that was kind of a funny jab for him and really, bolstered his kind of, value within the open source community. And while it's really not feasible for most people to run a local 405 billion parameter model on their computer or their even NVIDIA GPU setup, he really thinks that the smaller models are going to be where the bread and butter is at. And he really expects a lot of developers to distill and fine tune their own models of Llama 3.1, specifically those smaller parameter models. Do you think that Llama 3.1 puts Meta ahead of everyone else in terms of the AI wars? I think Zuck is positioning Meta really well right now for the future because not only is, Meta have the resources to train all of these AI models, but also they're not beholden to their business model being based around these AI models. Obviously, Meta, gets money from, Meta ads, different advertisements, user data, but they're not based around, selling the subscriptions of the AI model. So I think that competitive advantage is really going to put them far ahead once we look out 2 to 3 years from now. Let me know in the comments on who you think is going to win the AI race. I think that Meta is positioning himself really well, but I think that there's going to be a lot of different releases coming up, especially towards the end of the year, possibly GPT-5, maybe a new Claude model. Let me know in the comments. Remember, mastering machines, discover tomorrow's reality.